Well, hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to a little bit of Sea of Thieves gameplay. Now, you'll notice here that I am killing myself a captain skeleton on a skull fort raid. This is probably my favorite thing to do in the Sea of Thieves universe. I don't know what I'm trying to say. In Sea of Thieves. But, oh man, I'm going to title this video something like I love and hate this game. And that's what we're going to talk about here today in this video. And it's going to be a little bit of a long one. You guys know my commentary. Sometimes I can rant for a long time. So I hope you guys are in for that. If you're not, I guess click off right now. But, so basically, I want to talk about Sea of Thieves and the ways that I think things should have been done differently or better, what needs to be changed, etc., etc. And I also, most importantly, want to open a discussion with you guys. I love videos like this where I bring up, my thought process and ask you guys what your thought process is on the same situation, and then we kind of discuss it in the comments and, I don't know, discuss the reasons why or why not one person might be wrong or right? So, let's keep it constructive, but here we go. So, Sea of Thieves. The first time I saw the previews for this game, I was like, it was way too early out. I was like, oh, a pirate game. I think one of the first thoughts going through my head was like, how did it take this long for a pirate game to come out? I mean, I know there's been like, everybody always says Assassin's Creed Black Flag, but to be honest, I didn't even play that game. I know some people do say it was pretty good, but that was an Assassin's Creed game branded kind of in a pirate universe. It wasn't exactly a pirate game, in my opinion. Having said that, like I said, never really played the game. Anyways, so I was excited, but I didn't get my hopes up too much. I'm lucky enough to have a lot of friends over at Xbox and Microsoft. I got invited out during E3 to a Xbox One X experience thing or something like that. And I got to get hands-on pretty much with any game I wanted there. And the first thing I walked over to and was like, hey, I want to play this, was Sea of Thieves. The devs were nice enough to get me in almost immediately. I was in a 4-player co-op session on some beautiful TVs and all that stuff, getting to play some Sea of Thieves. I was terribly hungover, but I still had a lot of fun. I realized that the game was pretty realistic in the water and the sailing and everything, judging by how seasick I was getting from my hangover. Anyways, had a lot of fun on that little play session, but that was just like that was my very first experience with the game. Like, oh, okay, here's how you sail and shoot your guns and like very early, just dipping your toes in the water kind of thing. But I could tell, oh, this is exciting. I want to see more of this. I want to keep my eye on this, right? And then the beta came out, and I had a lot of fun with the beta. A lot of fun. I put a lot of time into the beta. I had a lot of viewership over on Twitch, had a lot of positive feedback on YouTube, so I was even more excited. Anytime I find something that I'm really into and the viewers are into too, that's obviously a win-win for me and my career. So I was even more excited, And then, they did a few stress tests and all that. And I started noticing issues during the stress tests and everything. I mean, obviously it was a stress test, so that was kind of, expected, I guess, right? Like, I'm not one of those people that complains, even with this game. Like, it launched, and a lot of people are just up in arms about how things aren't working on launch day and the launch weekend and everything. But that's like any game that comes out these days that gets hyped up, and a lot of people try to play it at once. They never know, they can't overspend on servers right out the gate. I guess, I don't know. I'm not like some corporate industry leader at one of these companies or a tech or anything. I don't really know, but I would assume that they can't just pay for all the server space they need up front. And then if they only spend a quarter of that, if they only need a quarter of that, that's probably not a good thing, right? So that's why there's a lot of lag issues and stuff like that early on in games. But anyways, I will say that I was hoping after the beta that I participated in and the stress tests, and there was tons of like closed alphas in the months before that this game would come out a little bit more ready to play. I'm not going to lie. With all those tests and everything, I figured that would have been a thing. But anyways, the game's here. I've been having a lot of fun in it, and I put a lot of freaking time into it. And I'm having a lot of fun, but there's so many issues. There's so many things that I just can't believe they didn't go a little bit further or do a little bit better. And it just really kind of makes me sad. I love the fuck out of this game, but it frustrates the shit out of me, some of the things that happen. So this is a skull fort raid. If you guys don't know what that means, if I were to look up into the sky right now, actually we completed it, so the skull cloud would be gone. But a skull cloud will spawn above one of the skull forts in the server, and it's got big green glowy eyes, and everybody sees it and is immediately attracted to it. And it only happens every, from my experience, like, I mean, it's every 30 minutes or to an hour even. Sometimes you just don't see one for a long time. So I don't really know exactly how long they happen. But the first couple times I did one of these, the first time I did it, oh my God, this is fun, right? Because everything, all my experiences up until that point were just, go here, find the X on the island, or solve the riddle to find your chest, blah, blah, blah. And then the skeleton quests were pretty cool. The merchant quests take a little bit of time because you got to go around and find specific chickens or specific hogs and stuff like that. So the Skull Fort Island raids were really fresh. They were really nice to see after you just kind of got bored with all the other stuff, right? Because you come to this island, there's only one, obviously, going on, and once you get here, waves of skeletons come at you. So you have like the regular skeletons, the white bone skeletons that you see on all the other regular islands and stuff like that. And they've got swords and they've got pistols and they got blunderbusses. And once you complete a wave, you hear like this horn sound, and then another wave comes. And it was really cool. And a lot, I first thought, and a lot of people in my chat and everything were like, this reminds me a lot of Call of Duty Zombies. I was never even really big into Call of Duty Zombies because like you don't get anything other than just like, oh, I made it to level, or I made it to wave 7,000 or whatever, But in Sea of Thieves, you get loot. There's treasure at the end, and you know that, right? And that's what I'm getting all the loot out of the treasure room right now. So after you complete these waves, it gets better. They start getting harder. You complete one wave, that there's these like shadow, like dark black zombies, and if it's nighttime, they more or less don't take as much damage, I believe, or at least they regen faster. Basically, you have to have them in sunlight to be able to hurt them, to be able to kill them, or you can shine your lantern at them, and, so then they like stun if you shine your lantern at them, and then you can kill them easier, right? And there's also a wave of these gold-plated zombies that look awesome. And since they're like metal, if you lure them into the water or throw a bucket of water on them, then they rust. Then you can kill those guys. And then there's also a wave of zombies, the white bone, or not, I keep saying zombies. There's a wave of like these white bone skeletons, but they have like vines, like plant material wrapped around them. And it acts as a sort of armor. And if they get in the water, they actually regen that plant material that acts as an armor for them. So it's actually a pretty well thought out enemy, wave-based, survival mode type raid thing. I don't know. It's really cool. And then eventually, once you get through all the waves, the captain spawns. Once you kill the captain, he drops the key. Boom, you can open the treasure room and get the treasure. Cool, awesome, great, grand. The first time I did it, had a hell of a lot of fun. Took like 30, 45 minutes because at the first time we didn't know how to kill all those specific skeleton types and all that stuff, and we didn't know, it's really important to know where the bananas and the ammo spawns on these skull forts. And once you do that, that makes things a lot easier. But then my second or third time going to one of these Skull Fort islands, I started encountering other players. The first time I did it, we didn't encounter any other players. The problem comes in when you encounter other players in this game because the PvP system and the respawns, more specifically, are not well thought out at all. At all. The last few times I've done this, without, this one included, actually. Basically, you get to the island, everybody else in the server that sees this cloud wants to go for it because you get way more gold for your efforts in this than you do just with the regular quests. To give you guys an idea, basically, sometimes you can get like 1,500-ish for some of the highest tiered things in this game. If you get lucky, I think like the red speckled chickens, sometimes you get like 1,500. The captain's chests, you can, or not even the captain's chest, it's not the highest, I believe. I think the chest of 1,000 grogs and the chest of sorrows, but they're still less than 2,000, I think. Maybe 2,000 max, right? Like not too much. I mean, it's good, but it's not that great. But if you complete the Skull Fort raid, you get about 13 to 14,000 gold guaranteed. So obviously, and like I said, if there's no opposition, you can do it in about 30 minutes, right? or probably even quicker. That was like my first run at it. But anyways, the problem is that everybody else sees it in the server, which makes sense. It's like a server-based raid, and that's the point. Is everybody's going to want to do it, and they're going to have to fight for it. But the respawns in this game are so broken that the last few times that I've done this, the raid has taken 2 to 3 hours, and I think one of them even pushed almost 4 hours, and it's just been beyond frustrating. And here's why. Because when I was doing this with a 4-man, this footage right here, I'm actually doing it just with one other partner. It was me and BMAC, and we were on a sloop, and this was my first attempt at a Skullfort raid in a duo team instead of 4 people on my team, and we were actually successful at it. But anyways, even the other times when I had a 4-man team, you're constantly getting bombarded by other ships, right? So other sloops are coming in, other galleons are coming in, they're jumping off their boats, they're coming on the island, they're trying to kill you, they're trying to sink your ship. And all these times, 99% of the time, we were successful in defending ourselves. We would sink their ships, we would kill all their... Even this one, as a 2-man crew, in this footage you're watching here, before this, there was a galleon that attacked us. I sank the galleon, jumped on their ship as it was sinking, killed 2 of their pirates. I think, BMAC killed one of them, whatever. Basically, once you sink their ship respawns somewhere else. The ship is the respawn point for players in this game. So you can kill players all you want, but if their ship is anchored outside of the Skullfort, they're just going to keep respawning on the ship and coming back on the island. So you can't just kill the players, you have to sink their ship, right? So we're sinking all these ships, we're killing all these players, of all these people that are pushing us the whole time we're trying to beat these waves of skeletons, and the whole time, the game, the way it's designed, it benefits the people that are attacking you, and it punishes the people that are defending. So myself in this case, because you're sitting there and you're firing all your cannonballs at these people. If they're hitting you, then you're using your planks to repair your ship. You're using your bananas to heal and all this stuff. And it's just, you keep just deplenishing your supplies the entire time, and you're taking them out, and that's fine, but you don't get anything back for it. I'm pretty sure in the beta, when you sunk another ship, the remaining supplies on their boat would float to the surface in barrels, and then you can loot that. But that doesn't happen anymore. So I don't know if that's a glitch, or maybe I'm mistaken and that wasn't a thing in the beta. But if it wasn't, it needs to be. Because these people respawn on their ship, and they spawn at an island that's like a 2-minute sail away from the fort, and they just keep sailing back at you. Over and 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 over again for 3 hours. That's how this has gone. And it's not just an isolated incident. Like I said, this has happened to me like the last 3 or 4 times now. And it's absolutely ridiculous because every time the boat respawns, you get fresh supplies. You get a whole new barrel of planks, you get a whole new barrel of bananas, you get a whole new barrel of cannonballs. You get all these supplies, and all this stuff just respawns. Brand new boat, they sail over, and they just rinse and repeat and keep attacking you and attacking you and attacking you. And it's just really, really frustrating coming from the side of, I'm the one sitting on the island progressing this fort raid, killing all the skeletons in these waves and progressing until we get to the key to get to the treasure and everything. And it's a pirate game. People are, I fully understand that PvP is a thing and it's a pirate game, and everybody's supposed to be stealing from each other and everything, and I want that and I like that, but they need to rework the respawns in this game so bad. Instead of spawning basically on the nearest island from where we kill them, they need to spawn on the other damn side of the map. If they really want to come back and fuck with you again, make them sail all the way across the damn sea to get back over there and get you. Also, something that somebody brought up is maybe people shouldn't, maybe whenever your boat respawns, it shouldn't just be fully stocked. It shouldn't be fully stocked of bananas, planks, and cannonballs. Maybe you should have to go around the outposts and actually stock that yourself. Or furthermore, in my opinion, maybe since this is a game completely based on aesthetic progression, spending gold on cosmetic items, maybe they should add merchant. Maybe they should add a merchant on the dock that you buy those supplies from for your gold. So you could go around and still find supplies just scattered around, but if you can't find enough, you could also purchase bananas for maybe 10 gold each or something like that. Purchase cannonballs for 25 gold each or whatever the pricing, whatever, that could be figured out. But maybe those supplies should also be purchasable. So then there's some risk and reward. Okay, like we want to go take on this Skullfort Island, so let's load it with supplies. We're going to put 1,000 coin or 1,000 gold worth of supplies, so we have plenty of cannonballs to attack and everything. But then if they go and attack and they lose that fight, then they lose something. You're punished. Right now, there's no punishment. There's no risk in attacking a team that's trying to do one of these Skullfort raids. There's no risk whatsoever. They don't care. They're just going to keep rushing. They're going to keep dying. Half the time, from my experience, if they are lucky enough to kill me and my friends and sink my ship, they sit there on the island and they don't even progress the fort raid whatsoever. They won't even beat one of the waves of the skulls, one of the waves of the skeletons, because they're such bad players. So we get back and then we have to kill them and sink their ship, so they respawn somewhere else, and then we continue the fort raid. And it's just it's so frustrating. This game's being called like the next oh shit, I can't even think of the name of that game. That's how irrelevant it is already. But the one with the space, No Man's Sky. They're calling it the next No Man's Sky because everybody's already not happy with how much content's in the game and everything. And I want to say, just for the record, that I love the game in the state that it is. Do I wish there was more content? Sure. Yeah, definitely. But even in the state that it is right now, I would play the hell out of this and just grind out the levels and rank it up and try to get as much gold as possible to unlock all the customization that I can and everything. That's 100% okay with me. I'm all right with that. But it just feels like there still could be more. People have a good point when they say that the quests are repetitive. Whether you're going to the gold trader, the merchant trader, or the souls trader, it's still more or less, it's still like go here, collect this, come back, sell it. Like, it's all pretty much the same shit. That's why I like the souls, the souls merchant lady or whatever, a little bit more, because you actually fight the waves of skeletons. That when the game fully released, that's the thing I focused on, just because it was like, oh, I actually get to PvE a little bit and then get my quest instead of just going and looking for something and finding it and coming back with it. It was a little bit different, right? And then I discovered Skullfort raids and I was like, wow, this is really fun. But it's incredibly frustrating, especially when like 13,000 is a good payout. But if you look at some of the cosmetic items in this game, there's literally like gray coats, like gray, shitty looking coats that somebody might think look cool on their pirate, but they cost like 10 to 13,000 gold just for a shitty coat. And that's what it takes. That's what you get out of one of these Skullfort raids, where it takes so long just to beat the waves, load up the treasure, and sell it all. I don't know. Some of this stuff is just like not proportioned in the right way, I feel like. I feel like there should be more rare chests, like chests that pay out a really high amount that are super rare or something like that. I don't know. It just, some of the stuff just doesn't seem right for a game that is fully relying on cosmetic rewards as the progression of the game. I feel like there's not very much cosmetic stuff to choose from anyways. If you look at all the cosmetics in the game, there's really not that much. Like, I've already seen plenty of ships that are completely decked out, and I spent like 30,000 alone on a blunderbuss, a pistol, and a sword. But a lot of people already have a lot of stuff like already bought. They already have those pretty things, and then it's after those pretty things, like, what do you really have to work towards? There's people on Twitch that are like already level 40, and level 50 is the cap as far as we know. Like, that's what they're calling the legendary pirate or whatever. So we'll see. Like, I don't know what else is going to unlock once you get to level 50. But I really, really love this game, and I really have a lot of hope for it. Also, the update that came out today just blew my mind. They fixed some stuff, which is good. But if you look at the patch notes, like, it's all pretty basic shit. And instead of making a patch for the game like everyone else does, you had to reinstall the entire fucking game. So you have to reinstall a 20 gig game, unless you're on not PC or the Xbox One X. It's only like 10 for regular Xbox, but still, like, reinstalling the whole 10 gig file, their whole 20 gig file, I don't know. It's just like red flags. I really hope Rare didn't bite off more than they can chew here, and I hope the support for the game is enough, and I know that their DLC plan is all free DLC, but I hope it's well done and it's not just like more cosmetic items. I hope there's actually like more shit for quests and everything. I think ships should take damage differently. You can get in PvP fights with other ships in this game, and as long as there's like one or two people down below just constantly repairing holes and bailing out water. It's like it seems impossible to sink ships sometimes, and that's really fucking frustrating. It just seems like mostly from my complaints, my biggest complaints are the respawn system. I think if they would respawn ships on further away islands, and also if the remaining loot on the ship would float to the surface when you sink a ship, I think that would help the PvP in this game immensely. But I think, like I said, there's some like damage to ships and stuff like that. There's a lot of things that need tweaking, in my opinion. Anyways, give me all your thoughts, questions, concerns in the comments down below about Sea of Thieves. What you love, what you hate, what you think should be done differently, what's stupid, what's smart, all that stuff. I'll be discussing with you guys down below. Let me know if you guys want to see more Sea of Thieves content. I love you guys. I'll see you on the next video.